Hi, welcome to the Web Design Tips and Techniques presentation. I'm your host, Sam Grant, and today's topic is the Fahner image replacement technique. Now, the Fahner image replacement technique utilizes a technology known as CSS, spelled out Cascading Style Sheets. Now, Cascading Style Sheets is not a new technology, but is an excellent technology for manipulating HTML. It can be used to take a simple HTML document and turn it into a 3-column layout with multiple colors and graphics and manipulate it in ways that you could never do with standard HTML. Today, we're concentrating on how to actually replace text with an image. The image technique replacement we're going to be following is the Fahner image replacement technique. This is not the only method, but this is the one we'll be discussing today. Now, the Fahner image replacement technique utilizes the span tags, and the span tags usually surround any text in the document. We're going to manipulate the span tags with the CSS by going ahead and setting all of the information connected with the span tags to display none. The display none tag inside the CSS will cause anything in between the span tags to become invisible. Then we'll write another CSS rule to actually show up a background image in place of the text, giving the illusion that the text never existed. Here's what the HTML would look like. We'll start out by opening up a body tag. Then we'll open up a H1 tag. The H1 tag is a heading tag. Let's type in some text. I'll type in the word hello for the H1 tag. Now, we're not going to affect anything else in the document, so I'm now going to close the H1 tag and then close the body tag. Now, to manipulate the word hello, we need to insert a divider. The divider, which is affectionately known as a div tag, goes in between the tags for H1. So between the 1 and the bracket is where we're going to actually place this piece. Now, to identify this, we need to introduce something that's called a div ID. The div ID has to have the name that you're going to actually use in the CSS. For practical purposes, we'll name the ID fur, which of course is short for fur image replacement. Now that we have the ID created, we need to introduce a span tag for the text that we're going to suppress. In this case, it's the word hello. To do this, we need to place the span tags to the beginning and ending of the text that we want to have affected. To do this, we simply type in the span tags at the beginning and the closing span tag at the end. Now, the word hello has been affected by this. Now we're ready to start working on the CSS. Now, the purpose of doing this is to actually suppress whatever is written in text form. Here, the word hello is written in the heading 1 size, but because of the span tags, we're going to render this text invisible and replace it with this particular image called hello GIF. The hello GIF file is going to be placed in the CSS as a background image. Now, to do this, we need to actually begin by setting up the measurements for the graphic. First, we measure the height of the graphic and then write that number to the side. For practical purposes, we'll say that this is 35 pixels. Now let's begin to write the CSS. We'll start out by writing the first tag for the replacement image. The first CSS rule is going to be H1 pound FIR, and then we set up an open bracket for this. Now it's time to write in the attributes and values for this particular replacement tag. We start out by the attribute for height and type in the number 35 pixels, which is telling our computer, regardless, to give itself 35 pixels of height so that the full graphic is visible. Next, we set the background image to go after the graphic hello GIF. The hello GIF is the image that's going to fit in the 35 pixel height. Next, we set the background repeat to no repeat. This should be done essentially because you do not want the graphic to show up more than once. Without this tag, the graphic would simply repeat across the entire line over and over again until it runs out of space. This way, with a no repeat tag, it literally only shows up one time. Afterwards, we simply close the bracket, and this completes the replacement image tag. Next, we'll write the CSS for the span tag. To hide the span, we simply go ahead and write in a specific tag for the span. Open the brackets, and then you simply give this one an attribute and value of display none. This will cause all text in between the span tag under H1 pound fur to not show. Once this is done, simply close the bracket and that completes the second tag. You've now completed the CSS. Once these things are completed and we go back to the HTML file, all you need to do now is to link the HTML file with the CSS. Once this is done, the CSS will seek out both the span tag and the div ID for fur, causing the graphic to actually replace the text. Once this is done, this is considered a successful image replacement. Now please be aware that the fur method has come under some scrutiny lately because of its inability to be read by certain screen readers. It's not the only method out there now. As a matter of fact, there are dozens of alternatives out there. You can find any one of these other techniques if you wish to try them by searching the web and finding any website that talks about CSS in detail. This has been a presentation of the web design tips and techniques on the Fahner image replacement. Hope you enjoyed it. My name is Sam Grant. Thanks for listening.